So I'm just going to hit record on everything.
All right.
So let's see, record on this computer.
Recording in progress.
There we go. Cool. Then I get to figure out how to put it on YouTube. But
All right.
so
It's pretty easy to upload.
yeah, oh, I'm sure it is. So all right, we'll give it a second. And we're live. What's going on, guys? Thanks for coming to Nooner Nation. I have a special guest tonight, Krista from Drunk Politics. What's going on, Krista?
Hello. Hello. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, thanks for coming on. Almost called you Kristen, not gonna lie. I've seen some of your videos and I know that's a big problem in your life.
It is. Lots of people call me Kristen, Crystal, Christina,
Yeah.
Chris.
Crystal will be a rough one.
It's okay though. Yeah,
Crystal
it's all right.
It's a rough one. Have you ever thought that maybe you're saying it wrong? And everybody else is right?
I
Yeah.
asked my mom the other day, I was like, why the fuck did you name me Krista? Why'd you stop there? I'm just wondering, like, what possessed you? I didn't like any of the other forms. I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't mind my name.
Yeah. And as someone with two kids, you never know like just how many names you hate until you're trying to name your child. Right?
That is such a true statement. Oh my God. I had a laundry list of names I hated when I was trying to name my son.
Oh yeah. Or like how many people you just like could not stand in high school all of a sudden all
Like, no,
comes
I
flooding
hated
back.
that person. I'm gonna look at that person every single time. We named our child someone or a name that we had never known anyone named that before
Yeah.
for that reason.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. How old's your kid?
He's almost 12.
Oh, okay. Getting up there.
He's getting old. He's an old fart.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Has he gone to the phase, like the point now where you actually have to wake them up every day? Or is
Yeah.
he up early?
Oh no. He's been in that phase for a while. He hasn't been an early riser his whole life, which
Oh,
is great.
yeah.
But yeah. Hmm.
Yeah. That's the opposite. I've got two boys. I've got a 6-year-old and a soon to be 3-year-old. And they,
Those
yeah.
are the age,
Yeah.
man.
They,
Your hands are full.
trying to get them to go to sleep is a chore. And then trying to keep them asleep, also a chore. It's like, they'll come up to like my wife's bedroom. It's like, dude, like what time is this? Like it's 4 o'clock in the morning. Like, what are you doing? Go back to sleep. Like,
Oh no,
you know,
you're not allowed to get up yet.
yeah. So we're definitely fighting that. We're losing that battle. Definitely. Like they always want to come up and sleep in our bed. And we're like, no. But then when it's 4 o'clock in the morning and you want to sleep, it's kind of like, how bad do I really want to fight this? You know?
Yeah, right.
So,
I don't have the energy. Just stay over there.
so, well, speaking of parenting, before we give you the proper introduction here, um, it is the 23rd, Christmas Eve is tomorrow. And to all the parents, I've been saying it all month. Go move the fucking elf.
Go move the elf, guys.
Yeah.
Do it.
Are you a elf on the shelf
And
household?
entertain us while you're doing it. No, I actually personally hate Elf on the Shelf, but that's my own interpersonal problem.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I was
I'm
definitely
not a
against it, but
I like the funny. I like the funny positions people put elves in.
oh
Like
yeah.
the best one I've seen this year was when the elf was sitting on the copy machine and it was printing out a face of Joe Biden. That
Yeah.
was great. That
Yeah, I
one
think
was my
what
favorite.
else
And
did
I wish I would have thought of that, but I
yeah.
didn't.
Yeah. I think I might have even seen that on your Instagram. That's where I saw that.
Yeah,
Did
I
you
put
post
it on
that? Yeah.
Instagram, but I couldn't take credit for it. I wanted to go get my Barbies out of storage and have like Ken dressed up like Hunter with the scarf and all the things, and then have him sitting next to the elf trying to teach him how to do a line of coke.
Yeah.
But I never did that.
Yeah.
Maybe
So that's
next year.
yeah, the elf just showed up at our house. You know, and
Yeah.
I definitely wanted to do like an elf for the shelf after dark Instagram account. And my wife, I started running through all the stuff I want to do, and my wife's like, "You are not going to be attached to that at all." So,
No,
so I
you're
didn't get to do
not. She
that,
cut
but
you.
yeah. But what it did do is I'm not responsible really for the elf at all around the house. So,
That's perfect.
you
She
know,
can do it, right?
yep, man, she
Mhm.
does, she does, and the
I mean, the
kids,
elf decides what he wants to get into, anyways, right?
yeah, apparently,
It's all up to
yeah,
yeah.
yep.
Gonna
So,
go put his hand in the cookie jar. What kind of stuff has your elf done?
Let's see. He tied up the Avengers action figures and like hung them from the ceiling. What else does he do? He yeah, all this, all the goofy kid shit. Gets into the flour while making cookies and whatnot. So
I like the Avenger situation. No,
yeah,
that's funny.
yeah,
My son would
the
like
kids
that.
loved that one, you know. So yeah. Anyways, drunk politics, right? You got a podcast. You do it with your
I do.
sister. Yeah,
I do. Yeah, with my
yeah.
sister.
Cool. So you want to give us like a little quick, your elevator pitch on yourself, and then tell us about your show.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm Krista Hilton, and I have a show called Drunk Politics Podcast. Started it with my sister like a year and a half ago. And the first year, we just kind of were fucking around with it. We were like, oh, let's start a podcast because who doesn't have one now? And so we just started season 2. We're taking it a little more seriously, but it's been a really fun journey. And we decided to do it after I read the whole CARES Act and couldn't even believe what coverage was like about the act that I had just read. And I started watching C-SPAN because I'm a nerd and I like to do stuff like that. And so then I was really, during COVID, watching how the news was portraying some of the press conferences and like the hearings that were going on in the Senate. And I just like, we live in a fucking clown world. Let's get online and talk about it. So
Oh yeah.
that's how it birthed itself. I've been in business. I've been an entrepreneur for like 20 years. I never really worked for anyone else, and this has been like a fun venture to learn a whole new world of things. So that's me.
Oh yeah, yeah. I definitely love it. I got into podcasting. This is I think this is only like my 15th episode for Neuter Nation, but so kind of the story behind that is, well, I saw you did an episode of your show with Dan Holloway, who's a friend of mine, with the Drinking Bros and American Party. Um, so yeah, I mean, obviously that network. I mean, they've built up a podcasting network at this point. Um, during the pandemic, they started doing live shows all the time and created this community, the Nooners, as they've been kind of known now, in the live chats and stuff on the live shows. And over the summer, I got an opportunity to go to like the big Field of Dreams baseball game here in
Cool.
Iowa with
Mm-hmm.
Ross, who I think was probably still sick while you were there. Um, and
Oh yeah.
yeah, then wife and kids got sick while I was there and had to drive back at like 10 o'clock at night, and it was like a 3 hour drive. And
Oh God.
needed some people to talk to for the drive, and I reached out to a bunch of people in the Nooner community, and ended up having a whole bunch of really cool conversations. I was like, hey, like this was fun. Maybe I should just start doing this on a microphone, calling, reaching out to people and having fun
Yeah.
conversations. And it's been fun. It's definitely a challenge. I found out immediately
Mm-hmm.
that I need to get over hating the sound of my own voice. You know?
Oh yeah. Same.
Oh yeah,
Mm-hmm.
like
I don't really love it, but here we are.
yeah, the first couple test runs I did, I was like, there's no fucking way. Like I sound like Tiger Woods with a sinus infection. Like nobody's gonna listen to me. Like
I get super nasally too. I get it.
yeah,
I was like,
I have terrible sinuses, but
so do
yeah. But I worked through it, and now I can listen to myself well enough to edit episodes and stuff, and not so much worry about it. And also
Yeah,
like
that's
everybody I've talked to that does speaking for a living was like everybody hates the sound of their own voice. It just like it's human nature. Like it doesn't. Nobody thinks it sounds right.
Yeah.
And if you probably, I'd imagine anybody that likes the sound of their own voice is probably like a cult leader or a serial killer.
Probably.
Like
Yeah, you
Jim
gotta be a
Jones.
psychopath on some level.
Yeah, Jim
Yeah.
Jones probably listening to tapes of himself all the time and doing God knows what.
Puts himself to sleep, like listening to his own
Yeah,
voice.
yeah. Sings his own lullabies on tape.
Sing yourself lullabies.
Yeah. So, so, so you mentioned, yeah, you watch C-SPAN.
I do.
Have you always been into like politics, or was it something you just
No,
grew into?
I was working with small businesses, mostly like brick and mortar type businesses that either did services like in the beauty industry or like sold clothing, things like that. I was working with them to help them expand and set up operations and all that. And I live in Portland, Oregon. So when everything shut down, I mean, everything really fucking shut down. And it took a long time to reopen. So my business at that point, because my clients weren't making any money, I couldn't really charge them. I felt bad. So I did as much research as I could to help them get government money if they needed it.
Mm-hmm.
Because the loans, the EIDL loan and stuff, like the rate's so low, it's like, why the fuck not?
Right.
If you think you can pay it back, whatever.
Yeah.
Um, but I really just wanted to help them. And then I kind of had to pivot because I wasn't making much money. So it made a big, impact.
Yeah.
But that's what I was doing at the time. And that's why I got more interested in it. I've always paid attention to politics, but not near as much as I do now. And I had no idea it was such a fucking shit show.
Oh
Like,
yeah.
it's bad.
Yeah. Yeah. I think.
I didn't know our leaders had lost it that much.
Yeah. Yeah. I would say like I'm 33. I'll be 34 here soon. But like I don't know what kind of 20-year-old really pays attention to politics. Really, I mean, I kind of had an idea of what was happening, and most if any of my political opinions at that point were just like parroting somebody that I thought sounded smart. So, but yeah, definitely in my 30s after having kids and stuff, and then like almost exactly like you, right? I knew even before the COVID stuff, I kind of knew that it was all just a complete shit show. I think after the Trump election is when I really was just like, this is all, especially like mainstream media was all garbage. Because before
It's
that,
such a
yeah,
show.
before that
Yeah.
I traveled for work quite a bit, and my go-to
Yeah.
news like in the mornings when I was getting ready or in the evenings, to have on was CNN because I don't know, I didn't know any better, and they seemed trustworthy. And I
CNN.
remember at the
Yeah.
time, so this would have been was right after the 2016 elections.
Yeah.
I think I'm in like Winnipeg, Canada, or no, I'm in Detroit at the time, so somewhere worse than Canada. But
Yeah.
I had CNN on getting ready, and Chris Cuomo was on, and it was right around the time, I don't know if you recall, like Trump had some sort of like aggressive phone call with like the Prime Minister of Australia or something, like really early
Yeah.
in his term. And they had
Yeah.
they had some senator on, and Cuomo was like, "Well, what do you think he said in that phone call?" And the senator's like, "Well, I wasn't there. Like, I'm not going to comment on that."
I don't
And he's like,
know.
"Right, right, right. But if
Yeah.
you were there, what do you think he would have said in the phone call?" And just really, and the guy's like, "I don't know how to answer this," and he just keeps digging and digging. And that's kind of to this day, I remember that's when the light really flicked for me. I was like, "Oh, like this is literally just a game to people." Like,
Yeah.
and it's both sides. I
It
mean,
is.
like, I tend
Mm-hmm.
to steer away from most everything. Like, I watch Fox News and get irritated. I'm a fairly,
Mm-hmm.
I, I personally don't like labeling myself as anything because I think where I stand on issues is an issue to issue basis.
Same.
But I'd say if you're to add it all up, I'm probably a little right of center. You know,
Yeah.
um, I
Yep.
like having guns, and I'm not going to tell somebody what to do with their body. You know, so
Right. Same.
so when I watch,
Same.
even when I
I
watch,
think most Americans are like that.
I think so, and it's
We're not as polarized as they want to make us. Like most Americans are like, leave me the fuck alone. Let's make sure we don't have extreme poverty. Let me have my guns and just let me be and
mhm,
don't bend me over when it comes to taxes, please.
yeah,
And thank you.
yeah. So yeah, and it's just I think yeah, I don't know. I think just from what I recall, it definitely partisan politics wasn't as much as a team sport as it is now. I think obviously I think the Trump election, Trump Hillary was kind of the catalyst of
Yeah.
that. Um, so in reality, like now, I focus really as far as politics go. I put most of my like concern and effort into like my local stuff, local state stuff. Um,
Yeah.
you know, and because I think that's really where most of the change happens, right?
Yeah.
And everybody wants to look like focus on what's happening in Washington, and in reality, it's what the decisions
Link
you
doesn't
make in your
really
own
matter.
town. They
Yeah.
ripple. That's what ripples there. but yeah, it's that's my political story, I guess. I don't watch C-SPAN. I binge watch like Witcher season 2, and then go.
Oh yeah, that I haven't started season 2 yet. That's a great show.
Yeah, me and my wife watched episode 1 of season 2, and then with the holidays and stuff, we're not going to get into it until probably afterwards. And then
Yeah.
was it the? I think we might try to watch The Matrix tonight. Not sure, but
Oh yeah. I need to watch that. I'm gonna let
yeah.
my son watch it, I think. I think he'll like it. He'll probably be like, Mom, you guys thought this was good graphics back in the day or
Oh
no?
yeah, yeah. Like what?
His comments about that stuff is always really funny.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. It's like my
I've
Nintendo
been
has better
binge watching
graphics.
Yellowstone.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
oh yeah. What's your thought? So what have you?
Yeah.
Are you just now starting the whole series?
I just started season 3. Like I literally binged watched the first 2
Oh
seasons.
yeah,
And I don't watch a lot of TV. So for me to sit down and watch like 3 episodes in a row,
yeah,
that means that I must like it or like it's intriguing on some level.
yeah. Oh yeah. We're definitely. I would say we don't watch a lot, but when we get into something, we typically go off the
Yeah.
rails, right? When we can.
Mhm.
Like I
Yeah.
said, two small kids, and
I was
it's
being on Yellowstone recently. Yeah.
yeah. But Yellowstone was cool. I thought looking back, they definitely pivoted how that show was going to be done from the first season onward. Because the first
Yeah.
season there was a lot of sex, there was nudity, there was kind of this edgy, graphic, you
Hmm.
know, almost dark thing, and it still is fairly
Yeah.
dark, but they definitely
It is.
shifted. I think they
Hmm.
realized that the story was definitely they could get a much wider audience and still keep the show
Yeah.
very entertaining and cut that stuff out.
Yeah.
Which
Yeah.
I'm glad they got a
Yeah.
bigger audience. I kind of miss the nudity and sex a little bit, but I'm a guy, so
I mean, yeah. That was I have to say like I really, really like Beth's character,
Oh
obviously,
yeah,
because she's obviously not like totally broken.
right.
And I think watching her evolve into like, oh, maybe I do have a sparkling of feeling,
Hmm.
has been nice.
Uh oh, you there? See if we can get you back. Hey,
Recording in progress.
can you hear me?
Are you, are you back?
Yes, I
Yeah.
am back. I don't know what happened there. Let's see. Tell me. Cut all the Wi-Fi in the house. I had this problem like last week. I don't know if you've ever dealt with cable companies. Nightmare.
Uh, they're the worst.
Nightmare. Well, I'll go cut that part out. But
Yeah, whatever. Um,
so yeah, but
where
best
were we?
character. We're talking about your best character
Oh yeah,
having
best
semblance of hope.
character. Have you watched all of season 2
Yeah.
of
So
Yellowstone?
no,
Yeah.
yeah. So we're caught up.
You're
We
caught up to me. Okay.
yeah
So the scene where she like gets attacked in her office,
yeah Oof.
that was pretty intense.
Yeah. Then
I was
doesn't
like, whoa, what's this guy gonna do?
yeah. Then she like beats a
Are
dude to
you
death with an
crazy?
ashtray or something, right?
Yeah. Speaking of dark, that was probably my favorite like
Oh yeah.
scene of all the episodes I've watched. I was like, this is kind of badass. And then Rip comes in and just like saves the fucking
Oh yeah.
day.
Yeah. Charge like
I
just
like his
charging
character
through
a lot.
a yeah glass wall, taking gunfire, right? Just not even caring. You know.
Not
Cool. Yeah.
and he's like, I love you. And she's like,
Yeah. Yeah.
all like beat and broken.
Oh yeah. All beat up. Yeah. Definitely yeah. That's definitely a much different Cole Hauser than from the
Yeah,
Days of Confused days, right?
totally. Totally. I've always been the type of girl that's like, I just don't feel like being a victim gets you anywhere. And so if somebody like were to try to rape me or something like that, I'd just get in their face like, oh yeah, do you want to do it? And totally fuck with their heads.
Just yeah,
And then in that scene, she kind of does it, and I was like, exactly.
yeah, just
See,
neg
it
them.
works. I know it's cinematic, but
Yeah, like just neg them to the point where they're just not even interested anymore.
I
So
know you want me to act scared, so I'm not going to. So
yeah,
fuck off.
yeah. Oh yeah. So yeah, I guess everybody handles their own sexual assaults different in a way, I
I
suppose.
guess so. I mean, whatever,
You know, I'd probably be the same way.
whatever. Yeah.
But
Oh
so
yeah, you want to go? All
yeah,
right.
like
Whatever.
I've had bigger. Okay, like
Exactly.
you think this is the
Oh,
first time?
that's it.
You think this is the first time I've dropped soap anywhere? Like, come on, man.
Right.
Yeah,
That.
yeah.
Yeah.
So actually, it'd probably be more
Uh,
like it'd probably be more like that thing from Kevin Hart's stand-up special. I'd be like, oh no, like just let me log off of my computer one last time. Gun compartment. You know,
yes.
guns everywhere.
That's everywhere. That's
So
funny.
so you live in Portland. I mean,
Yeah.
as a conservative leaning person in Portland, it's got to feel a bit frustrating, right? Like Portland's almost the hub of like I wouldn't even call it liberalism anymore, right? It's just like radical
It's
socialism.
radical leftism.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's psychopathism. I don't know. I don't even know what to call it anymore because the leadership has lost it that much. Like they're not liberals. Like it's an insult to liberals to call them liberals. Like
mm-hmm.
when people are like, oh, the Democrats have ruined Portland. Like, no, it's really not the Democrats. It's like this weird leftist fucked up agenda, and it's almost like a mental disorder is running the
Right.
city. It's not liberals, it's not Democrats, it's just a full-blown fucking mental disorder. So
Yeah.
it's
What
crazy.
was it? Portland that like they like stormed the courthouse and then set up the chop area or whatever. Was that Portland? Am I
That was
remembering that?
Seattle. That
Oh,
was
Seattle.
Seattle.
Okay.
Yeah, they tried to do that in Portland, but it didn't work.
Yeah.
They tried to do it right in front of the mayor's house, so that was never gonna be a thing.
Oh yeah. Well, they
He lived in a condo building, and so the owners of the condo building were like, no,
yeah.
no, this isn't gonna work. So they
Yes.
came and broke that up. But
Got out the fire hoses and shit and just scattered.
yeah,
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 I do know who was it? Oh, Evan Hafer, the owner of or CEO of Black Rifle Coffee. I don't know if you're familiar with them, but
yeah.
yeah, he has told the story plenty of times on a bunch of different things. Is why it stands out that he had a house in Portland, and I mean this was 5 6 years ago, and he had a really hard time selling it because of the like domicile laws. He had like people in vans living out in front of the house, and he could not have
Yep,
them removed.
yep.
Yeah, so that sounds insane to me. Like, do you have an issue with that? It looks
I
like
well, so I moved to an area where that's not a thing. But it's only a matter of time before it becomes a thing because I lived in an area where it wasn't a thing and then I moved from it because it became a thing. But I do live like more in the city and it's really bad in some of the neighborhoods, especially the trendier neighborhoods that were once like really cool. I don't know why people are buying property here still in Multnomah County. It's really not anywhere else outside of our county. So the county that Portland is in is called Multnomah County, and it's the only county that is an actual trash hole. There's like a few it's a little bit bad in Washington County, a little, but not really, and then a little bit bad in Clackamas County in certain areas. But the bulk of the problem is in Multnomah County, and it's fucking disgusting. Um, and even like Eugene's had a few problems, Salem's had a few problems, Bend is starting to have a few problems. Bend is so pretty, it's over in Central Oregon, but they're migrating over there. The bulk of the issue is here, and I don't understand how people are still coming and way overpaying for houses. Why, how are we such a leftist city and we care about people, but it's so hard to actually buy a house and
Right.
like maintain your property rights? Because our squatter laws are out of control. So one of the things that I do is I work in property management. My best friend owns a property management company and we work together. And we won't take on anything in this county because owners have no rights whatsoever.
Right. So,
None.
how long have you been in? Are you from Portland originally, or?
No, I'm from California, from Los Angeles area, which is also a shithole. But where I'm from is not. Um, but I've lived in
Malibu?
Portland for like 8 years.
Okay, for 8 years.
Yeah, so Malibu is like at the top of the bay in LA, and I live at the live like I'm from the bottom of the bay, the other like peninsula that jets out.
Gotcha.
I'd rather like shoot myself in the foot than go walk around like downtown Los Angeles right now. It's fucking gross.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not super familiar with like all the, I guess, oh, is like Malibu, would you consider that a suburb or is it like a neighborhood of LA? I don't even
Yeah,
know.
it's like a little city. I mean,
A
it's its
borough?
own city. Yeah, it's in LA County.
Yeah. Like the only time I've ever actually been to California was for work, and I went to Corona, and I was like,
Oh yeah.
yeah. And I was like, whenever I tell people from like LA, I was like, I was in Corona. Like, ooh, really? And I was like, I don't know. It seems okay to me for California. The gas was
Yeah,
really
Corona's
expensive.
not bad.
Uh,
Yeah, Corona's not bad.
and
It's
actually,
inland.
yeah. So I actually, for that trip, I actually flew into Vegas and drove.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
For one, I love Vegas. And then I I had reached out to people I know that lived in LA about where I was going, like Corona. Like, oh yeah, like if you hit traffic at the wrong time from LAX, it's probably faster to come in
Yeah,
from Vegas. And it was a
you
really
should.
cool drive.
Yeah, you could have flown into Orange County
Yeah,
to like
yeah,
Wayne,
I
and that
tried.
wouldn't the traffic wouldn't have been that bad. But it's expensive to fly in there.
Yeah, that's kind of where it was. I tried doing that. There's like, yeah, it was at John Wayne.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And then,
Yeah.
so I tried doing that, but yeah, the tickets were like triple. So my work was just like, no, we're not doing
Yeah.
that. And then I looked, I was like, you know what? Like, I like Vegas, and I know it's fairly just one road the whole way. And people have told me that the drive across the desert's kind of cool.
Yeah.
And I ended up getting, yeah. So I got a ticket into Vegas and just actually flew in like 2 days early, and just hung out in Vegas for a couple of days
Yeah.
and then
That's
drove across. So yeah, it was cool. So is there like what's keeping you in Portland? Just no desire to move out? You hoping things turn up or
Well, no, I really honestly have no hope for this city. Like I ran into a guy on the way home from Texas. I sat next to him on the plane and we just had a big bitch fest. He's a Democrat. He's been a liberal his whole life. And he loved Portland at one point and he's like, I didn't vote for this. Like the people that are getting in office are so insane that like the crazies are beating out the moderate Democrats. Like they just are. So it's not just Democrat fault. But anyways, he was telling me about his tax woes. And he's like, if you make any money, you're fucked. You need to move out of the city. And he's like, unfortunately, things are going to get a lot worse before they get better because all of us who had fight left in us don't have it anymore. And we're just moving.
yeah.
And I was like, yeah, that actually is so true. Everybody's literally just moving out of the area. And that I think is the only way that Portland's going to wake up. Just like yanking our kids out of school is the only way the school board's actually going to wake up is when they lose funding, right? So if all the rich people move out of a city, then they have nowhere to pull money from. So I think it's going to get worse before it gets better. The reason I'm here is because my son's dad lives here and he has a business. And so we just can't move.
Gotcha.
We're not married, but I'm not an asshole and I just can't move him away from his dad.
Yeah.
That's like a long custody battle that makes no sense to me. So
Yeah. And even if it's not a custody battle, it's still pretty rough, especially at this point. He's at the age where it'd be a huge shift,
yeah,
right? And
yeah.
lifestyle. If you could go anywhere, where would you go?
We actually tried to move to Cleveland when the whole shutdown happened. My sister lives there, and she'll kill me for telling everyone that. no one's supposed to know where she lives. She likes it to be an undisclosed location, but whatever. She lives in Cleveland, and
Don't
we tried
worry,
to
nobody's going to Cleveland,
we
right?
tried to
Even
do
to
that.
find
I
her.
actually really like it.
Oh
She
yeah.
lives in a suburb outside of Cleveland, and they're close to the lake. And it's clean. Like coming from a city that's dirty as fuck, going there, it's like okay, everybody, it's clean, and everybody has pride for their city, and they have all three sports inside the city limits, and people are festive, and it's just different. And so because I have family there, we did think about moving there, and they have like decent schools
Hmm.
compared to here. But my ex-husband he just couldn't, we couldn't deal with it. My
Yeah.
son was all about trying it out, and
Hmm.
we did go there for like 3 months. But
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. I so I'm originally from like Western North Carolina, like the Asheville area, and
Yeah.
yeah, I moved to Des Moines, Iowa, so the Midwest, 8 or 9 years ago. And other than the winters can be a little shitty. I love it out here.
Do you?
Cost of living compared to like salaries is great. The people are super nice.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and unlike in reality, it seems like the politically polarized seem to migrate, or at least currently be on coasts. The people here, like even if it doesn't really matter what side you stand on. Like people typically aren't assholes about it. You get a
Yep.
couple, you get those crazy fringe people that
Yeah.
I think in reality aren't even thinking about some of the stuff that they're shouting about. It's like, oh,
100%.
this person says this, therefore this is what I'm gonna say. And it's like, well, if you thought about it for 30 seconds, you'd realize like this is incorrect, and they're literally just baiting you.
Yeah.
Like I said, it's turned into a team sport, and it's ridiculous. And I'm with you. I think a lot of these places that have become kind of like the magnets for polarization are. I mean, it's going to get rough. I mean, you look
Oh
at
yeah.
L.A. People are migrating out of L.A. The people that can afford to migrate out of L.A. By the way, like any sort of, I don't even know if there is such thing as a middle class out there now. Um, what is their middle class would probably be somebody doing incredibly well in the Midwest.
Yeah. I
Um,
mean, people make more money there. Their minimum wage is lower. Like, okay, so when I was 19, I worked down there, and I worked in a gym while I was going to school. And I made 5.25 an hour.
okay,
But in
yeah,
Oregon, it was at the same time 7.25 an hour.
okay,
Granted, I'm dating myself. This is a long fucking time ago. But it was still way more expensive to live down there. But people had more opportunity to get jobs that were way higher paying.
right.
So, I mean, I don't know. I guess it balances out. And I don't know how people are getting into home ownership and stuff now down there. I don't know, because you can rent for so much less than what you can buy for per month. So
Right.
I'm not sure. Like my grandparents live there. All my family lives there really, and they bought houses so many years ago that now they're just sitting on these like appreciated assets that are paid off. But
Right.
grandparents bought an ocean view home in Palos Verdes for like $70,000. Now it's worth like 3 million,
Oh yeah.
and they haven't even updated it much.
Right.
Makes no fucking sense. Like, who's buying these? But people are moving in from other places with more money. So, like
Hmm.
these young families, these people are making money in tech and all that. So, the houses around them are getting bought up by like younger families who have like tech money. And so they just come in, they don't care.
Yeah.
Or Asians, lots of Chinese coming in and buying property around them.
Right. Like individual Chinese, or like just, I know like in New York it's a big problem where you'll just have a Chinese company, air quotes, come in and buy like an entire high rise building and not do anything with it. Right.
Right.
So at that point essentially it's just the Chinese government now owns property in Manhattan.
Yeah, the Chinese government owns a shitload of property here, but
Right.
like actual Chinese people are coming and buying houses also.
Yeah.
So I had
Yeah.
a lot of Chinese clients when I was doing real estate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wonder, like, especially in LA, I kind of wonder if some of the people buying houses now, like currently, because of all these people moving out, I wonder if the housing market has lowered a bit. And so that now these people that maybe have established jobs in the city that were kind of on that cusp of home ownership can now maybe afford to buy a house. I don't know. I,
I don't know. People are moving out, and people, I don't know who's moving to LA, but I do know that people are moving out of places like LA and Portland. And I think that we're seeing a whole different migration. I've been saying this since the beginning of the pandemic. Is like, calm the fuck down, people in red areas. You're not getting blue people. They think they're going to die if they come to your area. They're
mm-hmm.
not going to come to your unmasked place and then like taint your situation. They're not going to do that because they think you're going to kill them. So chill out because
Right.
you're getting like-minded people. They're
Yeah.
like we're in a massive migration in the United States, I think, where blue places are going to get bluer and
Mm-hmm.
red places are going to get redder.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think this like nothing's going to end up purple unless, you know, I just don't think that's going to happen.
Yeah. I'd say Austin might be at threat of that. But I think Texas as a whole, as a state, wouldn't let that happen. You know.
Yes. So Austin's interesting because they like wanted to be Portland so bad. But I just went to Austin and the majority of we loved telling everyone, they're like, where are you guys from? And we're like, Portland. And then they would look at us like, oh, how's that going? And we're like, don't let your city become anything like it. Okay.
Yeah.
So they just made a law that you can't camp on the
Mm-hmm.
sidewalk,
Oh yeah.
which that is 100% different than here. I mean, we instead made a law that you can not only camp on the sidewalk, but shoot up with as much meth as you want in front of everyone and no one can do anything about it. So
Yeah.
they are making like progress in ways that we have never even fathomed, but they're using us as an example, I think, at this point. And everyone we talk to is like, we want nothing to do with that.
Yeah.
So
Oh yeah.
hopefully they can get their shit together on that
Yeah.
end.
Yeah. My hope, and it's a big hope, but it's probably incorrect, is that people that are migrating, like let's say you are a moderately liberal person in LA moving to somewhere that is traditionally conservative. Obviously, like I'm not going to tell anybody to change what their values are, but I just hope that maybe through this, people can start to learn to compromise a little bit more.
Yeah.
You know, and
Hmm.
and agree to disagree, and I think even even if somebody has a point of view that I don't necessarily agree with, if they explain it to me in a respectful way, I will respect their point of view, right? Like
Totally.
because like I don't want to live. I definitely don't want to live in a country where everybody has the exact same views on everything because, well, then I don't know. You turn into like 1950s Russia maybe when
God,
it's forced upon
yeah, I
you.
want nothing to do with that.
But yeah, I think as a country, because of the the business aspect, or like I don't know, the what am I looking for? But the politics have almost become a game, and it's like almost privatized, right? It's an us versus them thing, and then social media and the mainstream media getting on board with that. Yeah, we've lost the ability to compromise and just be civil, and realize that there's not one answer to any problem in this country. You've got 300 million people. Do you think one way of doing things is going to work for everybody? Like it's ridiculous,
And
And
so close-minded.
yeah, oh yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
typically, like if somebody comes up to me, it's just like starts spouting out something that's very obviously like there's no thought in what they're saying. It's just what whoever Don Lemon started spouting out about something, or even like I don't even know who's on Fox anymore, but um, no matter what side it's on, I immediately just shut down. It's like okay, like
It's so annoying. I try to watch all the news networks like a little bit. and then watch their coverage on the same thing. So, like, if they're talking about coronavirus, for example, then okay, well, what is CNN saying about the numbers? What's MSNBC saying about the numbers? And then what the fuck is Newsmax saying? And what the fuck is
Uh,
Fox saying, right? Because they're so different
yeah.
all the time. And they have such a different approach. I would do watch a lot of Newsmax, but only because they've had me on a couple times.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I feel like I can relate to some of the stuff that they say, but I think that they're still polarized,
Oh yeah.
and all of them are pushing an agenda of some sort, and it's hard not to. I mean, you take marketing classes and all that, it's hard not to push your own like thoughts and feelings and agenda. That's not necessarily what news is about. News just give us the facts, but
Mm-hmm.
facts are like, so what are facts now?
Oh well, there's that. But
What's
yeah, I
a
mean,
fact?
as far as any company that is broadcasting news, I mean, they have to have funding from something, right? And funding
Yeah,
comes from advertising,
yeah.
or either advertising or private donations, right? So you
Mm-hmm.
got to figure out how to get like how do I get people to give me more money to keep doing this? Oh, I tell them what they want people to hear, right? Like I promote what they're pushing.
Yep.
And right now, polarizing people on either side of the spectrum is what gets people to view, and that's just what they're
Yep.
going to keep doing. And normal news isn't going to get people watching. Um,
Mm-mm.
that's why now in reality, I think podcasting, is probably the best form of media right now because you're getting people's genuine opinions regardless of what kind of sponsorships and stuff they have, and you can choose to listen, not listen. You can agree with some things, like I said, you did a show with Dan Holloway. I know Dan pretty well. I've been down there a couple times. I've gone and done stuff with Dan and his girlfriend. Great guy, uh, very intelligent, and sometimes he says stuff that like okay, like I don't quite agree
Yeah.
with that, but at least you're saying it. You're at least putting like you're putting evidence behind why you formulated this opinion or
Right.
thought on this one thing. So like I respect that, and I will actually take that and absorb that. Though when I think about that issue or that topic, it helps me be a little bit more well learned because it lets me have a different like I have a different um, I don't want to say opinion again, but I know somebody's has presented an argument against mine, and I can use that to formulate a better opinion, right?
Yep. Yeah. Yeah, Dan says some things that I'm like, are you fucking serious right now? I feel like you're smarter than this. But at the same time, he also says things that I'm like, oh, I never really even thought about that. And he does always have a reason for what
Oh yeah,
he says. And I really appreciate that. But I think it would be so boring if we just agreed with each other all the time.
oh yeah,
Where is the fun in that?
yeah. No kidding. You got a little spark, right? Have some arguments.
Yeah, like show me a different perspective. I'm totally open to that. And I think that people have totally lost to that in society. Like we need to have open dialogue and agree to
Yeah,
disagree. It's fine if we disagree.
right. I think we'll go back to a point we made earlier. Is I genuinely think, and it might be a hope, but I'd like to think it's this way. I think most people are rational, regardless of what their stance is and where they kind of. Again, I really don't like people being like, oh, it's like this sliding scale, left to right. But
Yeah.
I think most people fall somewhere in the middle and are rational, and will speak. Um, but I think those people now are afraid, to even consider something else because I've trust me, I've been to like PTA meetings, and I'm just like, okay, like I could really just go off on these people, but at the same time, like it's on me. It's I don't want like my kid to be ostracized because I have a hard stance on a policy that they're talking about in
Yeah.
school. Maybe I should, be a little bit more hardlined on that, but at the same time, it's like,
I don't know. So, okay, so good example of this would be every year my son went to private school up until like the shutdown, or I mean public school. He went to public school, and he had a good public school, and I was always really involved and helped out in the classroom so I could see what was going on. But anyways, they do this thing. It's called, I don't know, it's a breeding competition, and they get split up into teams every year for like third, fourth, and fifth grade, and they have to read as a team 16 books. And one of the books that they chose to read was about a fourth grade kid who went through a transition of sex. Like he thought he was a girl.
A fourth grader.
Fourth grade, yeah. And so I had a problem with that because okay, fine. Like you're going to encounter kids that identify a different way or think they want to or whatever. You're going to identify we're going to experience things with parents who think that that's okay and parents that think that that's not okay. And so because of the world we live in, it's a conversation that we have to have.
Mm-hmm.
But I read the book first, and the voice that wrote the book, I just couldn't get behind. Like it's one thing if you're talking about your experience, whatever, but it just hadn't seemed like that person had like actually dealt with like inner demons, and they were writing it from a place of hate. And I just, I couldn't, my son wasn't allowed to read it. And I told him why. Right. And I wasn't demonizing the process because it is what it is. I don't want him to be a hateful kid. I don't like back in the day when we were younger, like I'm just a few years older than you, but I remember kids like making fun of kids they thought might be gay.
Mm-hmm.
That's stupid. We shouldn't do that. And so I don't want him making fun of somebody that, maybe thinks that they're a girl for 5 seconds. Who cares? Whatever. Mm-hmm. Don't make fun of the kid. So, I want to approach it in like a loving way, but like, this is not okay. And this is why. And I sat down with his teacher, and I was dating a guy at the time who felt the same way. And we had kids in the same grade who were reading the same books. And, we both wrote letters to the board because it was like his board of parents that were picking the books, and the parents that get involved. Note to all the conservative parents out there, the parents that have been overly involved in your school board are liberal as fuck, and they have an agenda. And that's why things like this keep getting passed. And so you need to be more involved if you want to change things. So that's just a side note. But all of the people on this board that were picking the books were like transgenders themselves, or like lesbians who are bitter, those kinds of things. And I sat down with his teacher, and I was like, look, here's the thing. I don't give a shit if you're gay or straight, or you're a throuple, or you have a polyamorous life. Like, I don't care. My son knows there's a lot of different types of families out there. We're not a traditional family by any means. I said, but I have a problem with having kids read a book that is written in a voice of extreme bitterness on such an extreme experience. Yeah. And I can't have him read this. And it makes me feel really uncomfortable, but I don't want to make a big stink about it because I don't want him to be singled out and picked on, like on an administrative level. Yeah. Right. Yeah. And she's like, well, I would encourage you to write the letter, but just kind of say it like that. And she's like, I haven't read the book, so I can't really say anything, but I do think it's a really interesting pick on the parents' part. It's kind of strange. They're a little young for this, but I haven't read it, so I don't know. But I think you should go with your motherly instinct, because I don't think you're coming from a place of like hate. This is your concern, and they should know that there's parents out there that have concerns. Mm-hmm. So that's what we did. But we were concerned about like our kids not being able to get into like some of the higher programs and stuff like that, because their parents are over here being activists, like freaking the fuck out. And we didn't want it to dent their opportunity, which is so fucked that we even had to think about it.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. So when you say it was written from a place of like hate or bitterness, was it like written on like bitterness from a trans person that probably struggled through that with people that didn't agree with it? I'm assuming it's the point. Yeah.
Yeah. And very much like this person hadn't really dealt with it yet. Like, yeah, they transitioned and all that, but like, they're not like it. They don't have like an inner peace about them. Like maybe this didn't actually fix you, No,
and I again, like you said, if people are like, thank God, like Twitter and social media weren't a big thing when I was like in middle school and stuff because like it was
Seriously.
different. It was totally different. And I think part of this whole cancel culture thing is they want people to change, but they don't. Because if you do change, right, like you can go pull up shit from me like in high school, right? Like
Oh
God
yeah.
knows the kind of shit I said in high school, right? But guess what? Through time, I've changed. Realized like, oh yeah, it's like it's not cool what I said, and I don't really like to your point. Like I don't care. If, like whatever you want to be, like go be it. Just for one, don't be a dick about it. You know,
And don't like impose it on me.
right? But yeah, so like the problem I had with this PTA thing was not quite that severe, but it was the same kind of woke crap. You know, it was, um, well, they wanted the teachers to read some book on like racial bias. I had, whatever.
Yeah.
But then like, oh, we should make sure we order these books. So they needed like 30 or 40 of them. Like, oh, instead of ordering on Amazon, we should get them from a local bookstore. By the way, there is a local bookstore 2 blocks from the school, from the elementary school, right? And God knows what it's like to own a bookstore nowadays, you know?
Yeah.
So I was like, yeah, I was on board with that. I was like, okay, like questionable material. Well, my first question was like, was it critical race theory stuff? I said, no, it's not. It's just, uh, I don't, yeah, I don't know. I can't really remember exactly what it was, but it's something that's like a little bit eye rolling, but nothing incredibly concerning.
Yeah.
But I was like, yeah, we should definitely let's support the local store. I'm a big fan. Like I'm a big proponent of supporting local businesses.
Same.
I think the middle class that came out of World War II are the backbone of what created the country we live in now, and I
Mm-hmm.
want to see that continue. You know, also I use Amazon constantly. I'm not
I do
I'm
too.
not
I
I'm
can't
not
lie.
guilty of that. But
Yep.
if there's a chance at 40, like I'm sure an order of 40 books, 40 hardback books at $40 a pop to this 30-year-old bookstore in my small neighborhood is a big deal. Well, then some mom raised her hand. It's like, shouldn't we buy these from a black bookstore or a black owned bookstore? Again, if that's what you want to do, that's fine. Let's try to find a local one. Well, then they started talking about there are no local ones. So they're just going to go online and find one and order it. And I was like, like, you've taken, you've virtue signaled your way out of helping your community at this point. Like, if you want to find a black owned bookstore, for sure. But now you're telling the guy who's owned this bookstore for 30 years in his own neighborhood, we're not going to buy your books because you're not black. Like it's ridiculous to me. And I've like I just knew if I tried to get up and make that statement, somebody was who's much louder and probably much more rude. Like that's another thing. Like I have my own opinions. I'll stand up for them, but I try not to be an asshole to a fault
Right.
about it. You
Yeah.
know. So like
Yeah.
somebody's just gonna browbeat me into looking like some racist parent, and then next thing you know, my kid's the one with the racist dad, and then they're gonna go on my social media and see
No.
all the Black Rifle Coffee shit and the Drinking Bros shit, and be like, oh, now he's a radical
No.
conservative. I bet we better check his kid's
No.
backpack. I bet he's got guns in his backpack and hates black people.
Yeah.
Oh my
Yeah.
god, like
No,
it's
I know. I know. I know. I haven't. I felt that way when we decided to pull Brayden out of public school. I was like, yeah, I feel like one of the reasons we have to is because I'm going to get labeled like a fucking hate group all of my own if we don't. And then also, but now we're at a small private Christian school, and I'm like, oh, I say
yeah,
fuck a lot. And I don't necessarily think abortion up to a certain point is wrong. And so I'm going to be also labeled as a
yeah,
hate group. Like I can't win, but it's okay
yeah. We
because I'd
considered it.
rather take the prosecution from the Christians, to be
Yeah,
honest with you.
we considered it. For one, I mean, the private schools in Des Moines are astronomically expensive for where they are at.
Yeah.
Um, but then the ones here are incredibly strict Christian and Catholic to where point is like
Mhm.
so my full time job I'm an engineer, so I always made a joke with my wife. It's like I'm a man of science. I would like my children to learn science, and that's not where they're gonna get it. Um, I
Yeah.
do wish there was a better option than what's currently happening, and I honestly I kind of wish that just public schools would just be better, I guess. I would love him to be in a public school. I want him to be exposed to diversity, whether that's racial diversity or economical diversity.
Mm-hmm.
And my mother has been in the public school. She started off as a assistant. She was going to school to be a teacher. Got pregnant. My older brother dropped out of school, became an assistant, and here we are 35 years later, and she's been a teacher, she's been an assistant principal, she's been an elementary school principal in several places. Came to Des Moines, and she now is the manager for all the principals in elementary school. So I do have a soft spot for the public school system, but I
Yeah.
just think right
Right.
now, like, it's it is probably almost kind of maybe what's going on in Portland is the people in charge don't have like the balls to stand up to these people that are just being loud and ridiculous, right? It's easier to just cave
It
than it
is.
is to stand up to the people that are being loud, and everybody else, the rational people that are, like I just said, like too I'm almost too scared to speak my mind sometimes. People like us are just sitting here going like, what the fuck is going on? So
Yeah.
yeah, maybe it's
Well,
time to.
yeah. Here it's interesting because the school board, all the members are crazy. Listening to them speak at meetings is I'd rather take my head and continuously bang it against a wall. I mean, the amount of woke words that they string together that like they have no fucking clue what they're even saying. Like if I have to hear you can like talk about equity one more time when it's not financial, I'm going to
Right.
literally wring someone's neck. I
Yeah.
can't. So
Well,
they
especially.
are
Yeah.
they are they are sucking in the
Yeah.
bullshit and they believe it.
Yeah.
And so I just feel
Yeah.
like because of that, it's like, oh,
And
nobody's even paying you.
yeah.
You are just literally crazy. Like you're almost like hypnotized by craziness. That's
Right.
what it
And I
feels
mean,
like.
at some point, like, I don't think I think 90% of the people doing it don't even really believe in what they're saying. It's all about,
Do they know what
the
they're
virtue.
saying?
Well, they don't know what, and they don't care. It's a virtue signaling thing that gets them points on, in their book club or on social media.
So if I say the word equity at least 5 times in 3 paragraphs, I'm gonna win.
Right.
That's
Yeah.
what it feels.
They just use buzzwords, right?
Yeah.
Oh, racial equity. Like, okay, like there are arguments to be made about racial equity in America, but the way you're saying it, like you can't. Can you tell me what that even is, or is it just something you heard in some Facebook group, right?
Yeah.
To woke intimidate your way into getting what you want and looking good, right, at a school board meeting.
Have you watched any of those Democratic Socialist meetings?
Point of privilege, please.
Yeah,
I have
that's what
ADD. I would like everybody to keep their voice down.
that.
Oh my God. Like, dude, I feel bad for that guy. Like, good luck. All right.
That was life.
Anywhere outside of Portland, right? Like, you're gonna get eaten alive. Like, good luck. Good luck. That kind of language is
That's
say goodbye to a job with
please
benefits, right?
do not use gendered language.
Can you please stop using gendered language?
Yeah, that
And
um
even the lady at
listen
this
to a
podium
school.
just kind of like, okay, sorry. Like,
Okay.
but
Uh,
but anyways, let's get
Yeah.
on to funner things.
Yes.
Is cereal soup?
Is cereal soup?
Yeah.
Um, Interesting question. I guess it kind of is.
All right.
I mean, when it comes down to it, it's liquid and it's got chunks of shit in it.
Yeah. A lot of people have the argument that it's cold, but there's cold soups.
There's
Right.
cold soup. Yeah, like gazpacho.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah. I just asked that because we've talked about it a couple times. You've met Dan Holloway. And
Yeah.
whenever I really want to piss him off, I'll ask his cereal soup. And he loses
What does he
his
say?
mind. He's like, he pretty much tells me to shut the fuck up. He's like, it's not. This is why we have words.
This is why we have words.
Yeah.
So the difference, I would say, is that cereal is crunchy, and I don't know of any like cold crunchy soups. So if you want to have a real difference, it's maybe cereal becomes soup when it starts getting soggy.
Right. Well, I think these might be the, discussions we need to be having,
I
right?
think so. I think this is much more important.
Maybe the next presidential election, they should
Yeah,
ask whoever's doing it.
I think that people need to be in charge. Like we need to be in charge of asking the presidential questions. And I
Right.
feel like that's a really good one. It needs to start off like that. I
Yeah.
need to know what kind of person you are.
Yeah.
So is cereal soup?
And then another one, ranch or blue cheese.
Oh, blue cheese for
Oh
me.
no,
100%.
ranch.
Yeah,
I
I'm a
go
blue cheese.
ranch.
I like moldy cheese.
Yeah, ranch, or as we call it in the Nooner Nation, Eagles milk.
Eagle's milk.
Yeah.
Okay. Wait, why?
Um. So in college, it's really funny. I in college I went and hung out with my older brother one time, and we just got really drunk, and I think one of us was probably pretty high, and
Mhm.
started talking about. I don't know if you're familiar with the Canadian flavor of chips, American flavored.
No.
Well, they're ranch flavored, and they call them American. So then,
Stop.
we just started going off about how ranch is so American. It's pretty much might as well be bald eagle's milk.
Oh my God, that's so
And
funny.
I didn't think really anything of it. I knew it was kind of a humorous thing. And then um, when Drinking Bros started doing live shows, um, a problem neither one of us have yet, we'll get there, is that once you get to like 1,000 subscribers, people can like donate money through live chat.
Oh yeah.
And you get like whatever, you can like
Yeah.
do a message in live chat, super chat. They got into the debate about blue cheese or ranch, and I just did like $5 just to see, like, get a laugh out of people, so they'd see I said ranch, aka Eagles milk, and everybody just went insane, and it just turned into a whole thing. So I had Eagles milk T-shirts made, and
Oh my God, that's so funny.
so yeah, so it's Eagles milk here.
Oh God, that's fucking hilarious. Mindy's gonna love that. I have to tell my friend Mindy.
Oh yeah,
She loves ranch. I fucking hate
ranch
ranch.
is the best.
So.
So do you go boneless or boned?
On my wings,
Yeah,
I like bones.
yeah. So do
Yeah,
you
I
go?
feel like I like the idea of just like ripping the meat off. Like
Yeah,
it doesn't feel like a wing without
yeah.
bone. Like also, how the fuck do you make wingless bone or boneless wings?
It's just breast meat. It's they're fancy nuggets.
See, they're
See,
fancy
but
nuggets.
I
It's
will
not just
say I'm
they're not
also
fucking
incredibly
steak.
lazy, so I'll go boneless. I don't care.
Yeah, yeah.
If they're done
I
right,
guess it's less work. It's less work.
less work. So
You
do you
can eat
go you go drums or flats?
Um, I like the drums. I want to feel like I'm eating a fucking thigh or whatever it is, right?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Krista, you're giving me nothing. I'm a flats guy. God.
Like spicy.
See, I can go spicy. I can go spicy as long as it has flavor.
Yeah. Flavor, spicy, dip it in blue cheese.
Right. So also, I'm under the opinion that I brought this up later. I want to bounce this off of you. Should Demi Lovato be crowned the patron saint of the retarded?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. I think she should.
Yeah. Like she's singing to ghosts and shit now.
Yep.
Can you explain to me what California sober is?
California sober.
Yeah, she says she's no longer California sober.
I don't know. I've never heard that term. I'm gonna have to figure it
I'll
out.
have to figure that one out. I thought maybe since you're California, it must be a new thing.
I think it's
Yeah.
probably new and trendy, and I don't really know about
I'm
that.
assuming it's like no hard drugs.
Maybe that's California sober, but there's a lot of hard drugs in California. Maybe she doesn't drink and she just does hard drugs.
That'd explain a lot.
I don't know.
Either way, I mean, she's the poster child of why we shouldn't have Narcan. But
Oh, 100%. Narcan needs to just go.
yeah, I joke. I mean, I don't know. It's another one of those debates, kind of like abortion. Like, is there a right answer for saving
No.
somebody's life with Narcan? I don't know.
Well, now that we have so much fentanyl in the streets, like Narcan's not going to fucking save
Yeah,
you. So
true.
good luck.
I've lost some friends to fentanyl over the last couple of years.
It's really sad.
They had problems already with some, opioids, which is another problem we can do a whole show on,
Oh yeah.
But yeah, they thought they had something else, and it turned out to be fentanyl. And
That is why you kids don't do drugs.
yeah, I don't know. Weed's pretty fun sometimes.
Yeah, well, weed's legal.
As I
So we just
remember,
go
see,
at the
as I
store
remember, I
and
get
buy
drug
it.
tested, so I can't do that. So I just drink like a fish.
Oh, yeah. I think weed needs to just be legal throughout the whole US. And I think the Pfizer getting into the weed business is fucked. So
Mm. Well, you know, just
there's
another revenue stream. Vaccines and weed.
fuck them.
Yeah. Maybe the
Stop, don't taint our weed.
well, maybe it's a long play. Maybe the vaccine, they're pushing the vaccine so hard just because they figured out a way to make THC addictive.
Oh
So once you've
God.
been vaccinated and then they're going to make weed legal, you're going to get addicted to the THC that they're selling.
Maybe you should roll with this conspiracy theory. I'm into it.
I will. I'll get, you know,
Yeah,
I'll be the next Q
I think
before you
you
know it.
should.
I'm already on board with birds aren't real.
Oh yeah. The birds aren't real thing is fascinating.
It is awesome. I'm not
Fa-
solely on board. I think some birds are real,
No,
but
some birds have to be real.
yeah,
It wouldn't make sense.
pigeons.
My cat
Pigeons
used to,
definitely not real. You ever seen a baby
yeah.
pigeon?
No, I
Yeah.
also haven't ever seen an animal kill a pigeon. But I've seen my cat, my old cat, would bring me dead fucking birds all over them. So I know not all birds are.
Yeah, they gotta have some real ones to fool people, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
But the real birds aren't like running into your windows. Or I mean, the fake birds aren't running into your windows and like short
I
circuiting.
mean, they might be. They lose remote control or something and right into your window.
They could be, but you can see like okay, so here's my question. Do the remote control fake birds are they do they have like blood and shit? Like is it kind of like a Westworld
Could be.
situation where they're
Could be.
kind
I
of
mean, you can go back even further
realistically
to like,
robotic?
you can go back even further, like Alien, right? There's, you know, a
Yeah,
humanoid android.
humanoid.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we may never know.
could be. We might not ever know, but I
Know who
really
had know who had the
feel
answers? JFK, and they killed him for it.
fuck them.
Yeah, that was Bush Senior, by the way, who killed JFK.
The
Don't use it.
Bushes are so corrupt. This
Yeah,
is
well,
why I'm not an actual Republican,
yeah.
guys. Like I can't with it all.
Well, they're all any
They'll just like label themselves and they want to call themselves whatever just to keep us
well,
hating each
any
other.
any aristocratical, no, any of those big families, you know, you want to start going down some conspiracy theory. You start looking at like all these like the was it 12 families or something that run the world.
Oh yeah.
Pretty wild.
That's a fun journey. I
One of
like
them one of them built the biggest publicly owned house in history or something in my hometown, the Biltmore Estates in Asheville.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, the Vanderbilts.
Yeah.
Pretty wild place.
Yeah.
So, and then
Yeah.
one more politically charged question: should
Okay.
Britney be free?
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. Brittany should did she got her freedom, didn't she?
I think so, right?
Yeah. She definitely deserves that. And now I think she needs to tell us her whole story.
She might. I also think that the fact that there is a huge legal battle over whether she's mentally capable enough of handling her own life just speaks volumes to like the privilege of wealth and being famous. Because if I went nuts, like nobody gives a shit if I spent all my
No.
money, right?
No one give a fuck.
But I don't know. She spins a lot. There's something going on in that head. She does a lot
Something
of twirling.
going on in that head for sure, but I think that something definitely caused what's going on in that head. So what was the cause of it?
Being a child star, I think that fucks people up. Can,
Yeah.
especially
But what do
like
they do? Like, is it an MK Ultra thing where they're like hypnotizing these kids? Because maybe.
maybe.
I'm saying like I'm not gonna say I don't believe in it. I'm not gonna say I believe in it, but I'm also not gonna say I don't believe in it.
Right.
Saying
Yeah.
it's a possibility.
Yeah. Well, the bird outside your window right now is listening to what you're saying.
I know. Well, I don't know. I'm probably on every single list.
Oh yeah, you're on a watch list.
So.
You're on a watch list.
Oh,
Did-
yeah.
Did you get like searched going to Austin?
No.
No?
I haven't gotten searched yet.
No. So I did mean to ask you that. How did you get connected with Dan and those guys?
We started following each other on social media. I don't know if I know a couple people in Austin, and so I'm not sure if they like if we got connected through them or
Right.
but I think that Jared maybe started following me first and then Dan and then I started following them and like just conversations here and there
Mhm.
and I started listening to their podcasts and they're fucking hysterical. So
Oh yeah.
yeah, just do that.
Awesome. So what, did you make a trip down there just for that, or were you already going to
No,
Austin?
so Mindy, my friend that owns the business that I do like literally everything with, my like only friend according to social media, really. Her and I went to Dallas. Her sons just moved to Texas.
Okay.
So they went to Dallas, they moved to Dallas. So we went and visited them. And then neither one of us had ever really explored Austin. And we have a couple friends there. So we're like, let's go to Austin. And so then I sent Dan a message. I was like, I'm going to be in Austin. I want to see your studio.
Oh yeah.
So,
What do you think of
yeah,
that? That's
it's fucking rad.
yeah,
Like,
that's inspiring.
it's not very big, but there's so much fucking equipment and
Oh yeah.
different sets. Like, it's awesome. I
Yeah.
walked in, I was like, look at this setup.
Oh
This
yeah.
is fun.
Yeah, I was there. I went in there for the first time for the Super Bowl, this past Super Bowl. And I walked in, I was like, well, now like all the set stuff, like all the different sets makes sense, but this is insane. And
Yeah.
yeah, podcast goals, by the way. They just,
No,
yeah, I'm sure they
for real
told you, they
though.
just bought like a property in Austin. They're doing a huge studio out there. Like they're going to have a couple different sets and like I don't know if it's going to be a brewery, but like a bar and all sorts of crazy stuff. So they're,
I love that.
yeah.
That's so rad. I asked Dan a while ago, I was like, so how many subscribers does somebody need for you to pay attention to them and like bring them on your network? He's
Um,
like 50,000. I was like,
yeah.
oh,
Yeah, we're getting there. And actually, I think there's several people within the kind of the Drinking Bros community that have kind of what we've got going on,
mhm.
like startup or niche podcast stuff. And I'm connected with most of them. And we're trying to figure out a way, not necessarily like a official network, but a way that we could all get together to benefit each other in that way, right? Because there's definitely
I like
power in
that.
numbers. And
Hmm.
I think podcasting, though I don't know how yours is, my audio numbers do pretty well
Hmm.
compared to the audio numbers would peak a little bit differently than how the YouTube is, but I definitely think,
Yeah.
and traditionally audio is always where it was at,
Yeah.
but I think it's kind of shifting to video a lot more now.
Hmm.
Um, so yeah, and for YouTube, you don't really get any kind of help from YouTube until you hit like 1,000 subscribers,
Yeah.
which I'm only on
We're
episode
so far
15, but
away
a
from
thousand
that.
subscribers seems like an impossibility.
Yeah. We're
I
really far away from
I
that.
mean, I had a former Green Beret who now um, rescues Belgian Malinois, trains them, and donates them as service dogs. Right? Who Black Rifle Coffee did a coffee specifically for this guy, and he's only got 500 subscribers on YouTube. I'm like, how? Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Do we have to buy them?
YouTube's
Like, what do we
really
got to do?
something. I don't know. I don't know. I have a follower who's got given me some good tips on YouTube. Do you think I follow them? No, not really because it's hard. But but he was saying that like, they have facial recognition,
Hmm.
so your face is important to have on all the thumbnails.
Oh God,
Um,
I want
and
this
then
face seen
being
as little as possible.
consistent
Yeah.
about when you upload.
Hmm.
So we just started doing that like the last 2 weeks, and we're uploading Wednesdays at 6 p.m. Um, so I don't know. We're gonna try out the consistency thing
Yeah.
and tagging. He said to max out your tags.
Yeah, I get really weird about like tagging stuff because I don't know. Like, I don't know what to tag. I don't know.
Yeah.
Like, I also don't want to look desperate, but maybe I need to be.
So the tag, like you can't really see them on YouTube, like what like a hashtag basically. So when you're uploading your video and there's like the tags, so
Hmm.
he said maximize those tags. And then what else did he say? Uh like a transcript or whatever of like the
Oh,
minutes. So
oh,
like,
I did say, yeah, I
minute
noticed. I was
two,
watching some of your,
whatever.
watching some of your
Yeah.
stuff and saw you guys started having that. I need to again.
Yeah.
It all goes
That
back to that I can't listen to my own voice, so I don't really want to go back and
I
re-listen.
started having my younger sister who doesn't podcast with us, but she started editing our stuff, and I was like, hey. So her and Mindy's son are going through and like both taking a half and now transcripting it for us.
So yeah, so something like that. Maybe not so much like a producer, maybe a
No,
producer, but
yeah,
that's what we've talked about. Like this group, like if
yeah,
if we have 6 or 7 of us doing shows, like it's pretty easy to pay somebody,
100%.
you
Yeah.
know, a couple you know,
Yep.
$200 a month or something to just go through our shows and do that,
Yeah.
like take notes and do that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, so we're getting there. You know, I
Yeah.
definitely enjoy this. I want to see it taking off. Could you see is one of the dreams for podcasting to be a full-time thing for you?
Yeah, I think so. I think I'd really like it. I mean, who doesn't want to fucking talk for a living,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, definitely. I mean, I gotta watch out because um, the more drinks I get in me, the more I chatter. You know,
Mm-hmm.
you can definitely tell.
Yeah.
I've been on the mimosas for this thing. Definitely get
That's
more
good.
talkative.
Good. That's good. If I didn't have to go to an eye appointment, I'd have a glass of whiskey in my hand.
Nice. What's your go-to whiskey?
Usually just Jameson, but I like Basil Hayden's, and I like some flavored whiskey. I like Revelstoke has a pecan whiskey I really like.
Okay.
But I like mixing it with not flavored because it can be too sweet. And I like peanut butter whiskey too. I do like that.
Oh, Screwball.
Yeah, I like the screwball kind.
See, I'll do. I can do like a shot of Screwball and be like, "Oh, it's really good," and then do a second one and be like, "It's okay."
Yeah. I
I
just
don't
like
want to
to
do another
put
one.
it on a big ice cube.
Oh, do you? Somebody has told me to. What is it? Oh, put a shot of Screwball and mix it with a shot of red wine.
Oh, interesting.
So it's like peanut butter and jelly.
Interesting.
Yeah,
Okay.
I haven't tried it
Also
yet.
sounds like a headache, but
Oh yeah,
willing to try.
I don't think you want to drink a lot of them.
No, maybe just one, just
So,
to try it out, just
well,
to see how it is.
well, cool. So before we wrap up, I know you got an eye appointment and stuff. It is close to Christmas. You got any big plans? Do anything fun?
Um, I'm actually flying to LA tomorrow. My son's going to be with his dad for the last half of Christmas Eve and Christmas Day and into the week. So I'm going to visit my family in Los Angeles. So we'll see if I can get into places. I'll have to report back
Okay.
since they have their vaccine passport, and I'm not vaxxed, everyone. So I might be locked out of my favorite places. We'll see. It'll be a fun adventure.
Do you have to be vaccinated even if you're eating outside? Like if it's outdoor dining?
I think so. I could be wrong though. So, well, I guess when I get there, I'll learn the rules when I try to go do something and I can't.
Yeah. Yeah, we can definitely this next comment we can go down a rabbit hole on, but we'll save it. But like I think we're gonna have to like have two different science books moving forward. You have real science and then Fauci science. You know?
I think so. Science and then what you want to believe is science.
Science and science for profit really is what
Yes,
they are,
science
right?
and science for profit.
You
I
know.
feel like that's all it is right now.
Well, cool. Well, I had a blast with you on here. Definitely will have you on next time. You might have to be my
Yes.
go-to political
Oh yeah.
correspondent.
Yep,
right?
I can do that. I can definitely do that. And you're gonna be on ours too.
Yeah,
So
yeah, I'm excited for that. We're gonna bang these, but schedules. And actually, I was kind of thinking about it. That might have been better because we just had an hour and 20-minute
Yeah.
conversation.
yeah.
You know, I think having a little space in between gives some time to refresh, so it's not the same conversation twice. You
Yeah.
know, for sure.
Yes. And Chloe will be joining us for ours, and she always comes. She thinks she's the funniest person she knows.
Right.
So it'll be fun to have her,
Yeah.
3 cents.
And Chloe, by the way, I know you're gonna watch this. When I come on, I wasn't the one who said what city you were in.
That was my fault. She'd be like, "You fucking bitch."
Yeah, yeah. So bitch at her, not me. Be nice to me. I crumble. I just crumble under aggression from females. Just can't handle it.
Mm-mm.
So let everybody know where they can find you.
Okay, so we're on Apple Podcasts and Spotify and all the things. I think we just ended up on iHeartRadio too. The Drunk Politics Podcast. You can find us at drunkrepublic.co. We have some merch that's really cool. We're coming out with some more stuff. And then also you can find us on YouTube. Drunk Politics is our YouTube channel.
Is it under, I thought it was under your name, isn't it?
It's under my name, yeah. But the tag, it's like YouTube / drunk politics.
Oh,
So
gotcha. And either way.
It has the drunk politics tag, but it is under my name. I started it under my personal shit. Like, I don't know why I did that, but now it's
Yeah,
I don't know
it's a
how to
little late to
transfer
turn
over.
back too,
Here we
though.
are.
Yeah.
Here we are. Just
And
follow
yeah,
me, Krista
yeah,
Hilton. You can find me on Instagram too, the Krista Hilton, and then all the links to all of our shit.
yeah, yeah. And I'll definitely put the links in the YouTube description and shit, so you can find those. So yeah, like she said, as far as Nooner Nation, everybody knows what to do. Like, subscribe, go out to iTunes, rate and review. If you don't have an iPhone, steal one and rate and review, because for whatever reason, people don't really care about any other platform except for iTunes. Um, so there's that. Also share, definitely share all of this. It goes a long way. Just like pretty much anything nowadays, whether it be a podcast or a small business, social media seems to be the driver for that. So definitely, like, just share stuff on Instagram for sure. Um, so yeah, other than that, thanks for coming on and have a great Christmas.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Merry Christmas.